Hey Capricorn, welcome to Aria Moon Tarot, and thank you so much for being here. This is your love reading for anyone with Sun, Moon, or Rising in Capricorn. It's a general reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it doesn't, check your other placements. All right, let's get started. So I want to start your reading by talking a little bit about the stone that you were drawn to. We will see how this might tie into the reading as we move along. So looking at this aquamarine is actually known to kind of have a protective energy or a shielding effect. So I feel like already this person's higher self is coming through as wanting to protect this union or wanting to protect some part of this union. Even if their ways of going about it seem flawed at times, I do think that there's some form of protection that that seems to be coming through as a main contributing factor when I'm tapping into this person's energy. This is actually, interestingly enough, a stone that was used to protect against physical harm during battles at sea. So that's very literal. That's a very literal form of protection, but a more figurative way to view kind of that idea of a battle at sea would be to kind of view this as a battle of the emotions. So tapping into that water energy. So this might be an indication that this person is having some sort of internal battle when it comes to their emotional side or the emotions that have been tapped into as a result of this connection. This is also a stone that's known to be helpful when it comes to sifting through or sorting through information. So that's making me think of mental clarity. So yeah, I'm kind of already picking up on the energy of your person's higher self, having a little bit more perspective, having a little bit more clarity than their 3D self does. And I would say that there's kind of a special emphasis already being placed on emotional clarity with this stone and the war that might be I feel like it's being waged inside of them in the emotional space. There's kind of a war there. So that's some channeled energy already, but we are going to, of course, use a little bit of some tarot, some oracle, and tap into that a little bit more. So I'm going to set this off to the side. I'm actually going to do something that I rarely do, and that is I'm not going to flip this card. I am not going to flip this card until later on in your reading. We're going to use this maybe as like an advice card or something. I'm going to set that aside and let's dive in with some animal spirit type energy here and figure out what's going on with your person. A little bit of suspense for all of us. I'm curious to know what that energy is, but I think it's going to better serve us towards the end of the reading. So what I really want to look at here, I want to look at this person's energy on the surface level, and then I want to look at the energy that their higher self is coming through with. And what's really interesting about this, I think, is we're going to be looking at how this person presents on a surface level through the perspective of their higher self. So we might even have a little indication of areas that they wish that they could change or ways that they wish they would behave differently. But we're going to look at some surface level information here. So the first card, let's look at your person's energy on the surface. Okay, we have the Panther. Oh, that is the first word that came to mind was like ferocious. I feel like this is really ferocious energy. Let's make more room here. We will get to it. We'll get to that card. I really feel like I'm already picking up on, again, this feeling of protectiveness or guardedness. And that was a major theme that was coming out, kind of just tapping into the energy of your person's higher self and what was being channeled. There was this this protective energy. I'm feeling that with this Panther. I feel like on the surface, this person can seem like somebody who can put up a wall sometimes. Almost like this is somebody who can feel like they're really hard to get to. In some cases, for some of you, this could be somebody who is physically difficult for you to get to. They might be someone who lives far away from you, or someone where your differences have come into play in this connection a lot. So there might just be kind of this energy of like this person is either standoffish or they have a wall up, almost like don't get too close or you'll get burned type of energy here. And this is really coming from a protective sense. I feel like what's interesting to note is your person's higher self is coming through with the kind of the information that This person protects themselves very fiercely, but they also have a fierce protective instinct when it comes to you. And sometimes I think that they might be misusing that. So that's why it's interesting to kind of tap into the energy of this person's higher self, because we're able to see how sometimes we're flawed in our approach. So this person does have a protective instinct when it comes to you. And I feel like in some cases, their higher self is saying that there's a part of them that even wants to protect you from them. Yeah, but protection is key here. I've had this overwhelming feeling of them almost fighting against something when it comes to you or when it comes to this relationship. What's interesting about this energy is I can feel that there is so much depth to this person, maybe more than initially meets the eye, or more than you would realize looking at a surface level. There's so much depth here. There's so much heart. There's so much feeling and emotion beneath what they're displaying. If you even just look at this panther's eyes, you see how everything that's out here, everything on the outside is, it's black and white. It's kind of dull. It's colorless. I feel like this person might feel that there's a lot of emptiness in their life at times. They look at areas of their life and they feel that void. They feel that emptiness. But what I see when I look at this person's, or not this person's, but this panther's eyes, is really kind of the energy. It's taking me right to the heart chakra, to be honest with you. And that again was kind of information that I was tapping into with this aquamarine. We were talking about this emotion that is stirring in this person, or this emotional war that might be waged within them. This protective energy that I'm feeling from them, their higher self is pointing to, this is coming from a desire to guard that heart space, to protect that soft inside, to protect that part of them that really feels deeply exposed and vulnerable by this connection. So something has triggered this person on a surface level to be protective of that heart space. And it's almost like, if we think of this as the emotion that's going on inside of them, or this deep heart space, it's like if you relate this back to the way that the outside energy here is this black and white energy. This is somebody who can see the world as very black and white, who can see the world as very factual and not wanting to use their emotions to approach the world, to analyze the world, to interact with the world, trying to hold back that emotional connection. But also there's kind of this feeling that in a lot of ways, the excitement or the life or the energy, the whole vibe of life has been sucked out of their experience in some cases. So their higher self sees that. I feel like their 3D self might not be as aware of that. They might not realize that cutting off that emotional part of them does steal some of the joy and some of the juice and some of that, like, that delicious essence of life. It can steal that from them. So their higher self is fully aware of that. 3D self in protection mode. There's this fierce side of them. There's this panther in them. There's this fierce protector. And it makes sure that sensitive side of them is kept safe. There even might be, in some cases, kind of this element of resistance to these deeper feelings and emotions that is being awakened in this person. And I feel like their higher self sees that so clearly. Their higher self can point exactly to the resistance, whereas their, I actually don't know what I'm calling it, the 3D self, but I hope you understand what I mean by that. Kind of their matrix self, their more physical, their more surface level self doesn't always see exactly where that resistance is. It's almost like this panther energy could have been used to kind of run from this connection, or even used to push you away or to scare you off. And I feel like for some of you, there's a specific instance that their higher self is pointing to, and they're saying when they said that, when they did that, when they acted that way, it was really to try to scare you away, because what was happening inside of them was so scary. What they were feeling inside was scaring them away in some cases, or in some way. And really fighting against that. On the surface, this person can get kind of defensive when they sense these deeper feelings, or when they feel like these feelings have been triggered within them. And the panther this panther energy, it talks about our inner strength. I feel like in some ways this person is fighting an internal battle, as well as whatever external battle might be evident in this connection, but they've got an internal battle going on as well. So there's almost like that internal war we've been talking about the whole time. There's this internal war. It's like, should I give in to these feelings? Should I let them overcome me? Should I allow this like heart-centered energy to kind of take over, to take the lead? Or should I fight against this and protect myself and keep myself safe? That's the question that's going on. And their higher self sees that sees that very clearly. So with this Panther energy, it's about cultivating that internal strength that's going to lead us to a place where we can purge what's not needed and break out of that stagnancy. Yeah, I feel like although the surface energy takes on kind of a defensive tone, this is alluding to a shift that's happening on a deeper level for this person, because the Panther energy really pushes us to grow. It's fire energy. It's gonna talk to us about our passions. It's gonna talk to us about what's driving us, and there's a desire for growth driving this person. I feel like for a lot of you, this person might be a fire sign. Especially if they're a fire sun sign or a fire rising sign, but they could have fire anywhere in their chart, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. That for some of you is relevant in this situation, because I feel like that surface level energy being such ferocious fire energy is indicative of something there. So let's look at what's going on. What is going on with this person's higher self? What's the energy of this person's higher self? We have this stingray. I feel like this is really interesting that this person's higher self is coming through with this stingray energy, because with the Panther representing that surface level energy, we kind of had a reference to the heart chakra here with these green eyes, this intense heart energy that's trying to pour from them. It's trying to emanate from them. With the stingray, we see all of the chakras here. We see everything lit up. We see everything in connection. We see everything in alignment. I feel like on the surface, the way I would describe this energy on the surface is like their higher self is saying, what they display is just a glimpse of the emotion that's boiling beneath the surface, and what's going on at a higher level, at a deeper level, at a more spiritual level, is all of these main chakras or these main energy centers being represented here. And that's a deep level of connection. That's a deep level of awareness. That's a deep level and indication of awakening happening in them. So this person's higher self is very aware of the awakening process that they're going through. And there's kind of like this healing on a deeper level with the stingray. It's all about, this energy is all about sensing. It's all about becoming more sensitive and tapping into and liberating our emotions. This can even talk about healing old emotional wounds that have been buried or that got covered up. So I feel like your person's higher self is really placing an emphasis on the bigger picture here and saying that even if your person on a surface level seems very resistant to change or seems to be fighting against some of these more heart-centered energies, they're actually on a journey to heal these emotional wounds and to make I feel like to make progress in terms of this protective energy that comes out in them. Like progress in terms of always wanting to throw up a guard, always wanting to protect themselves. Stingray energy really, it asks us to choose between the old and the new. So choosing between that old familiar energy that we've been living in, we've been operating from, and the new, more honestly, more difficult, more growth focused, more uncomfortable and unfamiliar energy that represents where we're headed. So your person's higher self is focused on a deep evolution, on growth, and their higher self understands the importance of being able to tap into these emotions and to not hold them back, for it to not be so guarded. And what will trigger them emotionally. I feel like their higher self is so aware of what's going to trigger them emotionally, whereas their surface level, what they're presenting on a surface level, they often are triggered. Something will trigger them. They're not even exactly sure what it is. And they're not exactly sure why they react the way that they do, is how this is coming through. This is water sign energy here. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy with the stingray. And I will say this person's higher self is eager for this growth, eager for this expansion. And that could be a little clue about that internal battle that we were talking about before, because this growth has been triggered on the inside, but old patterns and programming might be kind of causing them to resist these changes. So it's like they want to welcome in these changes and they want to fight against them at the same time. They want to be defensive at the same time. I'm curious to grab another oracle card for you. Try not to blow your candles out. I want to join this energy together and just get a message about the space between what's going on a surface level, what's going on with this person's higher self. And again, this is from the perspective of their higher self. So to me, it's a lot more clear a lot of the time. Yeah, we have Stuck in the Mud. This is card 24. Yeah, I just kind of want to channel a little bit from this person because there's a lot going on here. There is this feeling of being stuck, of being caught between. I feel like this person, like their higher self would tell you, there is growth here, there's evolution here, there is the desire to tap into all of these energy centers, to tap into this emotional place. And there's also this feeling of being stuck in the mud, in the murky waters, in the gunk of everything that has transpired thus far. And I feel like that's really important because when we look at this chakra system, when we start at the root, we're starting at things that happened in our past. We're starting at things that have given us that foundation, things that have to do with our foundational beliefs and things that were ingrained in us from an early age, different experiences we've had throughout our life. So it's like, what their higher self is saying is there's a lot that has gone on in this person's past. There's a lot that's gone in their childhood, even things that have happened in their adult life for some of you that can trigger them, that can bring up these old wounds, that can challenge them. And they're in this push and pull place. They're in this in-between place, between the old them and the new them, the new them that wants to experience all of this, that wants to tap into all of this, and the old them that just wants to remain protected. And sometimes it really does. It just feels like they're stuck in the mud with this. It just feels like they're not getting anywhere. The image of quicksand is coming to mind right now. It might feel that sometimes these old wounds, these old patterns are almost trying to suck them underground. And I think from the perspective of their higher self, they are fighting the battle to not get sucked down by all of this, to not get sucked down by the past, to not get sucked down by their triggers and by their fears. But it is hard for them sometimes. It's hard. This is card 42, so this is the energy of 6. The energy of 6 is that of stability. So they are looking for a stable place. They're looking for something to ground onto, something to pull them out of that quicksand type of feeling, something to help them gain more momentum. Let's look at some tarot. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I I cut the deck and I'm having the hardest time keeping this card together with the rest of the deck. The world card wants to pop out. The world is about completing cycles, even reaching our goals, learning lessons, and moving on into the next phase. And I feel like that is such a central and key theme that we're talking about here. This person's trying to close out some cycles here. So I don't think that's by coincidence. I think that's a card that we need out here on the table. Messages from their higher self, please. 9 of Pentacles. Wish come true. I feel like this person's higher self, one of the main messages I'm seeing here is this is really, this is a goal for them. We have the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck right now. So we're talking about wishes fulfilled. We're talking about completion of cycles. We're talking about our highest dreams and aspirations becoming a reality. And I feel like from the perspective of this person's higher self, they know that this growth And this period of uncomfortability that they're going through is necessary for their evolution. It's necessary for them to reach their goals, reach their dreams, become the person that they want to be. Messages from their higher self, please. Seven of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles. I'm going to leave these together. And we will look at all of that. Bottom of the deck, we have the Moon. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot that's hidden. So this person's higher self is coming through to talk about all that's been hidden from them. This is kind of a message of, especially if you feel that this person can sometimes leave you in the dark or leaves you guessing about what's going on, how they're feeling, how this connection is evolving. This is really making me feel, and especially if I look back at this Panther energy with all that darkness out there, that's really Moon energy. It's very mysterious energy. It's very elusive energy. It's in some ways undefined. And I feel like this person is starting to see, and their higher self is drawing attention to the fact that they're starting to see these things and awaken to some of these things themselves, but that this has been a process. This has been a process in understanding their emotions and understanding where they are in this connection. And a lot of this has been hidden from them as well. A lot of this is stuff that they didn't realize. They didn't know that they were protecting themselves. They didn't know that they were fighting against this. They didn't know that this heart-centered energy was trying to come out of them, and they were fighting it. They were holding it back. They've not fully realized that. Their higher self is fully aware of that, and I feel like they're being guided to really explore more of this and to not fight against this emotional connection that wants to come through for them. So when we look at these cards, like I'm seeing a growth journey. I'm seeing an evolution. I'm seeing this person moving on to a new phase and completing a cycle. And that's what their higher self is urging them to do. That's what their higher self is pointing toward here. And this is all about finding happiness and finding fulfillment. I feel like what their higher self can see that they can't see is that blocking these emotions, blocking their feelings, being stuck, because in some cases being stuck is a huge theme for this person. Being stuck in situations or scenarios that's not bringing them joy or satisfaction is actually keeping them from making this evolutionary journey that their soul is on. It has held them back, and it's held the sunshine, it's held the joy out of their life. So from a higher perspective, they can see that they're blocking a lot of joy from their own life here. They're blocking a lot of connection and a lot of possibility for their own life. And what awaits them on the other side is this very beautiful energy, the Six of Cups energy, this Nine of Pentacles energy. This is energy of connection, of stability. We were talking about the number 6 here. So interesting that this card came out. This is the energy of stability. It's the energy of the sweetest connection is how I would put it. It's the sweetest connection. And just kind of this feeling of having the wishes fulfilled. Now, when we look at the Seven of Pentacles energy, and I'm gonna read these all together because they came out all together. I feel like this is something that has been waited on. This is a connection that for a lot of you've been waiting on, and their higher self is kind of pointing to the fact that they've been waiting for this too. They've been waiting for this evolution. They've been waiting for, honestly, I feel like it's so interesting to channel messages from the higher self because I feel like a lot of truth comes out. I feel like this person has been waiting for this feeling of emotion to either start feeling comfortable or to go away completely. And there is this part of them that has wished that it would go away completely. That this kind of light in the eyes of the Panther, this green energy that's coming through, this heart-centered energy, there have been times that they wish that they could push this back inside and lock it up in a box so tightly that it could never come out. And it's like there's a part of them that thought that that would make them happier, to not have to deal with this, to not have to be in this moon energy, to not have to uncover some of these uncomfortable emotions. But it's like, from a higher perspective, they know that that's not actually going to get them there. So there is this feeling of waiting, of putting in work bit by bit, of maybe not being satisfied with the outcome, because the Seven of Pentacles can be that way sometimes. And I think sometimes this person hasn't been satisfied with the fact that these emotions are stirring inside of them in the first place. They haven't been satisfied with their attempts to even shove them away. And interesting, we have the Queen of Cups, the King of Pentacles here. So definitely counterpart energy. There might be kind of a situation here where we're dealing with an earth sign and a water sign. We also had strong fire sign energy here as well. We have Leo energy here. We have Libra energy here. Yeah. I feel like this is definitely a counterpart energy here. And I feel like your person's higher self is pointing to almost like you as being, oh, how can I put this? Being the emotional trailblazer in this connection, being the one who's more in touch with your emotions. And it's like, there's a part of them that is envious of this. There's a part of them that wants to be able to tap into this. They want to be able to fully embrace this emotional feeling inside of them. I love that the King of Pentacles in this deck is just surrounded by all of this green, because it's bringing me right back to that heart-centered energy. This is like, it's almost like they're saying, that's the cloak, the clothing, the cape I wish I could put on. I wish I could wear that emotional cloak. I wish I could bathe in that emotion that you are so easily able to tap into. And I feel like it's interesting because even if you're not feeling like all of the emotional aspects of this connection are easy for you to navigate, there might be a lot of hurt in this connection. There might be a lot of feelings going on here, and it might not feel easy for you to navigate all the time, but I feel like this person sees you as somebody who can, and sees you as somebody who they wish they could be. They wish that they could express themselves the way that they do, the way that you do, or be as ready for this connection as you are. They wish they could tap into that happiness. They wish they could move on to the next phase and grow and evolve the way that they see you doing. So there's this part of them that is an admiration of your ability to be in touch with your emotions, to grow and evolve as you need to. And they feel a little bit like they're held back in this way. Like they aren't making this progress as fast as they should. And again, sometimes like they don't want to make the progress at all. So very interesting energy there with that, because I do feel like this person is sort of at times like, I don't want to go on this journey. I don't want to have to grow in this way. I want to stay safe and cozy where I am. But then at the same time, it's like I'm stuck. I'm stuck here. And almost this feeling of maybe choosing to be at times, worrying that they are choosing to be stuck in that place. So let's see. I want to get some messages from this Messengers of the Heart deck and see what other channeled messages we can get from this person's higher self. I feel like it's important to note that this portion of the reading is from this person's higher self. So they might be bringing out some of the conscious thoughts that your person has. And we're going to look at that. Like, is this more the Panther energy, or is this Stingray energy? Is this the higher self's thought, or is this the surface level thought? And we'll see what comes out. So messages from number ones. Person's higher self. What do we have here? We have discovery. So they saw or heard something that turned their sense of reality upside down, left them feeling powerless and trapped. Isn't that the same energy? That's that stuck in the mud energy. This connection has caused this person to do a lot of self-discovery, to learn a lot about themselves. And as I think we all know, that self-discovery isn't always fun. I feel like what happens is sometimes this person wants to like short circuit the system. Sometimes they want to skip that part because it isn't fun. And like this card says, it's something that turned their sense of reality upside down. I feel like this person could have gone on and on without realizing that they weren't fully tapped in, that they weren't fully aware of their emotions, that they couldn't fully access all of their emotions, that fear was holding them back. It's like they could have just continued that way. And sometimes they wish that they had continued that way because they want to avoid doing the work. They want to avoid this discovery. They want to avoid that feeling of their world being turned upside down. We have the power couple card here. They see that both of you have an equal exchange of power, which can make you unstoppable as a couple. I think this person, wow, it's like they might not even want to admit it, and that fierce side of them, that panther side of them, I think loves that about the connection that they have with you. I think they love that. They love the potential of this connection. They love that power couple energy. We have lack of faith here. Yeah. I feel like this discovery, this path of discovery that they're going on, it challenges their faith. There's a part of them that worries that they will never, they'll never evolve in the way that they need to. They'll never be able to embrace this emotional side of them the way they need to. We have missing you. Their life feels empty without you. For those of you who are in connection, in separation in this connection, this person is missing you. Unseen factors. There's more to this love story, though you cannot see it now. There's so much more to unfold. I feel like that message sometimes can be a little bit ominous, and in this case it's very exciting because that energy of the world, this world card that wouldn't stay in the deck, that's what that energy is. It's about something that's going to unfold, something something that is yet to come, some sort of progress that hasn't come yet, and it's kind of exciting in a way. There's also a lot going on that I feel like this person, it's even unseen to this person. It's that moon energy again that was at the bottom of the deck. Do I still, yeah. That moon energy there, that's unseen factors. These are things that are a mystery even to this person. Growth and triggers and things that are a mystery even to this person. Tapping into all of this energy here has been a mysterious journey for them. It has been a journey in uncovering. I'm going to pull a couple of channeled messages from my homemade deck. I'm in the process of finding myself is what just came through. Let's get another message. I dream about marrying you someday. This person wants to deepen this connection. I was picking up on that with that 9 of Pentacles, that 6 of Cups energy. This is someone who wants to deepen this connection. Someone who wants to, they see this connection as a wish fulfilled in some way. So this energy of power couple, that kind of goes into that. It's like they see this as this beautiful connection that that could unfold for them, that has so much potential, that would take them to this next level, to this higher level. But they are in the process of finding themselves, and their higher self sees all of that. It sees all of their triggers. It sees all their stumbling blocks. And I feel like this person is being guided to recognize more of that on a surface level. Let's turn over your initial card and see what's going on here. We're going to take this as advice about what you can do or how you should view this connection. So we have the South Node. This is don't let your past hold you back. I feel like there's a couple of messages coming through with that card. I really feel like this is a message for both you and this person. I feel like this person's struggle right now and their main growth is in terms of not letting these past things hold them back, not letting fear hold them back, not letting events that have taken place in their life, ways that they've been hurt, ways that they felt they needed to protect themselves, hold them back from experiencing this deep connection. I also feel like there is a message for you in here, and this is kind of I feel like this is coming through as a message from your person's higher self, not to let the past of this connection hold you back. I also feel that there's this protective energy coming from this person that's very sweet, that is kind of saying, don't let anything that has transpired in this connection hold you back from being that emotional being that you are, from experiencing and exploring. Don't put your life on hold because of this connection, and also don't put this connection on hold because of what has happened in the past. So if there is a part of you that might not be able to let go of some things, might not be able to move past what has happened or the journey that you've been on with this person, there is kind of this message of don't let what has happened before hold this back, because there are changes happening, unseen factors. There's unseen changes happening here. There's this energy of the world, this new cycle happening here, and to let old patterns and old events hold back this transition. It's kind of like coming through as that would be a shame to kind of let that happen. And I feel like that's on both ends there. So take that as it resonates. There is a need for both of you to not let anything that has happened in the past hold back this connection or hold back the progress that you're going to make in your life and in your personal evolution. So I want to pull some initials, I have kind of a bowl of a lot of different things. So we're just going to see what messages come through. I find a lot of times when I'm channeling the energy of the higher self, we get a lot of like symbols, we get a lot of symbology, we get a lot of hints toward things. So this might mean something to you. These messages might not resonate, but we're going to see what comes through. We will see what we get here. So we have the letter T. We have February. This can be referencing a birthday. This can be referencing a time you met this person or a special time you shared with this person. Sometimes this can even give us an indication of when the next major event in this connection will unfold. We have the letter S. Again, this can be referencing initials, locations, timing of things. So this could be representing a month. This could be representative of September. I say that as I pull out September. So for some of you, September might be relevant in this connection. For some of you, you may have reconnected with this person very recently or just met this person not too long ago. And I feel like maybe some of these emotional triggers came out very early on in your connection. This is coming through this way because I'm filming this video in October. So for some of you, this could have literally been last month that you either met this person or that some major event in your connection took place. And this can be, you could be watching this video anytime. So if you're not watching this video in October, it could be that you met this person very recently or that some major event unfolded very recently. We also have Sagittarius here. A lot of fire sign was showing up in your chart, so that might be relevant. We have the letter F. We have the number 8. Did I have one fall? Yes. And we have Leo. 8, Leo, August. That might be referencing a time frame or a birthday for some of you if you're dealing with a Leo. I'm going to pull a couple more for you. So we have the letter P. There's a message coming through. We have Gemini. We have the number 5. Again, this might be a reference to June. Gemini energy, the number 5. And for some of you, that can have a different meaning. When this P came out, and for some reason I felt called to put it up there, and the message that's coming through is PS. So that's that's my indication. I'm also kind of getting like, psst, like when you make that sound to get somebody's attention. And it's the same energy. I'm getting kind of this message of this person has more to say, or there was something left unsaid. There was like, this could literally be a letter or a message that they sent you. There was something that they want to add to it. There's something that they have realized, and there's like this little like PS, this information. So there's something that this person wants to say to you. There's more that needs to be revealed here. And I feel like with that unseen factors and this transitional energy that I'm getting from this person's higher self, I feel like there is more. There's more to be revealed here. For those of you who thought this connection was completely over, I don't think it is. I think that there's a lot that you don't know right now. There's a lot that your person doesn't know. There's a lot that they're trying to figure out in terms of tapping into this higher spiritual level, tapping into the energy of their higher self and receiving direction. And it's like they're starting to see that. They're starting to see their own patterns of resistance here, and their higher self is urging them and pushing them to do that. I feel like there is more to unfold, especially with the 7 of Pentacles energy. That's more to come. That's waiting on some sort of harvest. If this is a connection where you feel like you put in work and you didn't receive the payoff, there's more to come. There's more information, and I feel like for a lot of you, there's information you don't have. There's things you've been left in the dark about. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me and channel this energy. It is interesting channeling the energy of the higher self. It's a little different. It comes through a little bit different. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you received some valuable messages and information. If that is the case, don't forget to like the video, leave me a comment down below, and hit subscribe if you feel like it. And hopefully I'll see you again in another reading really soon. Bye.